go ahead.
Hello, thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching the replay, thank you so much. This is my friend Stacy. She has been a friend of mine for 5 years. She's been helping families simplify their nutrition for over 20 years, and she's a wealth of knowledge. I love her so much. This is Stacy Turner.
Thank you, Courtney. We got to spend some time with Courtney and Alexis in Phoenix a couple weeks ago. Nicole and my daughter and I, it was so great to just be around that baby versus just seeing her on Zoom. So she's such a sweetheart. And Courtney, I love that it has been for 5 years. We were introduced through a mutual friend of ours named Mallory, and a couple of people in between all of us. So it's fun to stay connected with people in different areas. And again, I apologize for being in the car. I have a senior this year. She's graduating and she got the dates mixed up of when some awards night was happening. So I showed up for dinner and then I had to scoot out to come hang out with you guys for a few minutes and then I'll hop back in there. But really, I just wanted to, I'm going to share my screen and then I'll share part of our story as we go along. But thank you to both Joe and Deborah for sharing with me, the answers to this already. What brings us here tonight? We've all got things going on and we just appreciate your time and joining in with us to learn, maybe in the name of disease prevention. That's where I was thinking even 20 years ago. We have a lot of cancer in our family and I was concerned for that. Personal health issues. I wouldn't have said that we ate unhealthy, but we, ate a salad before, the meal at a restaurant. So I wasn't opposed to salad, but that was kind of the only time I really tried to incorporate it in. And I had been sick a lot as a child and my husband had pneumonia 4 years in a row. And yet we still would have said, oh yeah, we're healthy. We eat healthy. So sometimes it's just what you don't know. And I'm thankful that all of this information came into our lives when I was just 24. My husband was 27, and it really was a game changer. This affected our own health in such a positive way that I immediately started sharing with other people I knew, and it grew into a passion I never knew I had for fruits and vegetables, but it's really because I have a passion for helping people. And I found the need was so strong. There were so many people that were just not eating enough fruits and veggies and looking for better health solutions, like both of you said, to detox and to reduce inflammation, to reduce that chronic pain, maybe to prevent disease, or just an overall interest in eating healthier, that as I adopted these tools for myself, I couldn't help but share them with others. And so again, I just thank you so much for being on here with us tonight, because really we are unhealthy. 1 in 4 people will die of heart disease. 1 in 2 women and 1 in 3 men will develop cancer. 1 in 3 will have diabetes by 2050, and 1 in 5 children is obese. Those are some significant numbers, and that's all pre-COVID. I know numbers have changed since then. And this last statement, our children are more harmed by poor diet than by exposure to drugs, alcohol, and tobacco combined. That's Dr. David Katz. And one of the doctors I heard speak said that this may be the first generation of children not to outlive their parents. And that was my kids. He was talking about the generation of my children. And I just was like, no way. I'm not okay with that. What can I do to make an impact on their lives and other families as well? So part of that reason is because food quality is decreasing. Joe, Deborah, think about when we were kids, what we were eating. We mostly ate real food. And as we got into teenage years, that's kind of when the processed foods of the 80s came around. But even as a little kids, we were eating mostly real food, where that's not the truth for children now. They're eating mostly processed food and very little real food, and their food sources are just full of these different additives and nutrient deficient foods. And the kids are joining me now. So, hey guys, how did the awards? That was quick. All right. So, but we have to stay here probably. Oh, I don't know. I guess we can drive. I'm afraid my Wi-Fi is going to mess up.
Is it connected to your phone?
Yes.
Ignition, doing that. It won't.
Okay, we're gonna keep going, guys. So more than 50% of what Americans eat is processed, and I think bump that up for kids. It's even more than that. I would say probably closer to 80% of what they're eating. Think goldfish, juice box, you know, sandwiches. What's the little tray called that they have like meat and cheese, like a Lunchable? Yes, thank you, Brielle, from the back. That's what they're eating the majority of the time. Talk to a kindergarten teacher and they're like horrified by how much processed food these kids are bringing in as their lunch. So we're going to focus on fruits and vegetables tonight because the news isn't that fruits and vegetables are good for you. It's that they are so good for you. They could literally save your life. Now, this was Time magazine in 2003. That's about the time I started learning about this. And I thought, if that's true, if fruits and vegetables are that good for you, so good they could save our life, am I really making that a big part of our daily, routine? And the answer was no. I just wasn't making that a high priority because I just didn't know that impact. But once I did, I was like, I've got to find a way to get more of these, plants into our diets. And that's because up to 75% of disease is preventable through good nutrition. And I've heard as high as 85%. That's a high number. I want that number on my side versus against me. And that's why we need to be eating as many fruits and vegetables as we can. 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. Thinking that a serving size is slightly smaller than the size of your fist. 7 to 9 servings for women, 9 to 13 servings for men. I don't know about you guys, but I find that really hard to do. Even when I'm intentional, it might be 5 servings every day. And if you're athletic, or you have kids that are athletic, they need to be even more, bumping that up to around 20 servings a day. So why do we have to have so many of those? One is because our produce is picked way before the nutrition fully develops. And when you're looking at green bananas and food that's been trucked across the country, because like where I live, we're in the desert, there are no banana trees, but yeah, every time I go to the grocery store, there's bananas, which I'm thankful for. I have this huge appreciation for farmers now that I never did before, but that produce is picked before those nutrients get in there. And then that means it's losing a lot of those nutrients in that process. And that's why we need to be eating even more of them. And we're not eating enough of variety from the rainbow. We tend to eat like the same 5 fruits and veggies. So super important to just eat as many colors as you possibly can. And most people know that their body's not getting enough nutrients. And so they tend to rely on a multivitamin to fill that gap. And that makes sense because people are always asking, a doctor's asks you, are you taking a multivitamin? And you see advertisements for it. And if you go to a vitamin store, it's shelves and shelves of different vitamins to choose from, right? And one magazine says, take this one, and another magazine says that. Then a doctor on some TV show recommends one. Another friend says, hey, this is what I'm taking. And, in the end, we're trying to fill a gap with a multivitamin that's just a fraction of the nutrients that you would find in food. So an apple has approximately 10,000 different nutrients in it, where that vitamin pill has maybe 30. And those are isolated chemical renditions that your body has to try to figure out what to do with. So it knows what to do from that nutrition in that apple. And research shows us that isolated vitamins might actually be doing more harm than good. So they are not shown to prevent heart disease, cancer, diabetes. They can bridge a nutritional gap that will show up in like a bloodstream, like let's say a higher vitamin C level, but is that vitamin C able to do its job? And that's really what you want to make sure. Nobody wants to invest in something that, 1, is not absorbed and just moves through your body, or 2, that can't do its job inside your body, or that your body can't use to do what it's designed to do. So really, when we look at bridging the gap between what we may be eating and what we should be eating, it needs to be from a whole food source. And that's why Juice Plus made so much sense to me as I heard about it 20 years ago. Now, I didn't understand disease prevention. I didn't know any of that side of it. I just knew my 1-year-old wasn't eating any veggies. He had gotten to where he was only eating canned green beans. And I was reading all these baby books that said he should be eating more. And I was a little bit concerned for that. He was sick quite often for being a stay-at-home guy with me, and I was doing my best, but I knew he wasn't getting the nutrients that he needed. And so we actually lived in South Florida, and I was at a trade show in Fort Lauderdale, and there was this table that had all these fruits and veggies on it, and it attracted my attention because I was concerned for him. And then she told me that you could get fruits and vegetables in a capsule or a gummy. And I was like, what? That's a thing? If that's a thing, I totally need that thing. Like, how have I not known about that? And I want to make sure my parents know about this too. And so that's what this was. It was plant powders, concentrated plants in a capsule form. And I just thought that is so brilliant. And this is the fruit. It's 10 different fruits, 10 different vegetables, and then 10 different berries. And as you can see, that's a lot of different colors, bright oranges, deep reds, purples, dark greens, vibrant colors, and plants that I'm not eating on a daily basis. Not because I don't like them. Like, I love peaches, but I love a peach off my parents' tree in the summer where it's so juicy and you bite into it and it's dripping down your arm. I'll eat those any day, but I don't like the peaches from Walmart in the winter. When you bite into it, it sounds like an apple and it has no taste at all, right? Like, there's a difference between those. And so I just really felt assured that our body was getting these nutrients in on a daily basis on top of everything else that I could start flooding it with, and just getting as many plant foods as I possibly could. So this is called, or this video just shows how Juice Plus is made, and I'm going to play it and hope that we've got good coverage on it. If I don't, Nicole, give me like a thumbs down and we're almost home and I can play that video. Actually, I'm just going to wait. I'll come back to it. It's just a few minutes, but we'll talk about our plant-based omegas. Omegas are really important for heart health, brain health, joint, for your skin, and for your eyes, especially brain health. Our brain is made of fat. We need healthy fats. And sadly, there's been a long, train of people that have said fat is bad for you. Fat makes you fat. And so people started eating low fat everything. That was probably in the 2000s. And now we know that's not necessarily true. And when you're taking the fat and the sugar out of a food, naturally, you're having to put other additives in it to make it palatable where people will want to buy it. Think about sour cream. When you look at the container of sour cream, it says cream is in there. If you look at light sour cream, there's like 5 or 6 different ingredients, and you can't even read what those are and what it's a bunch of chemicals that they're adding back in. So, when we're looking and thinking about our brain being made of fat and needing that healthy fat, that's often why people will take an omega supplement, that they're taking a fish omega, and it's just not a sustainable source of omegas, and it's just omega-3s, where this is all plant-based, so there's no fish, and it's a full spectrum of 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. So 5 different omegas that have different properties. Some of them are help reduce inflammation. Some of them prevent inflammation. Some of them go specifically to the brain, and some are cardiovascular omegas. They have different functions. And so to be able to get this from a vegan source was really important to me. I even put these capsules on my skin at night. I would never do that with a fish oil. Can you even imagine? But I love these omegas on my face. And for a sunburn, I don't know what it is, but it will take the sting out of a sunburn. It's amazing. So you just poke a little hole in these capsules, squeeze it on your hands, and put it on, and it takes that burn out. So just remember that for the summer if you guys get a sunburn or even mosquito bites. It's kind of crazy. We keep finding all these different ways to use it. And then the Juice Plus Complete shakes are a vegan, plant-based great source of protein and fiber. And you can read some of the ingredients on there. We were doing an event and one of the ladies said, yeah, I see all those ingredients, but does it actually taste good? And we were like, it does. And if you're not a smoothie eater, you can make protein balls. There's all kinds of recipes that can go along with it, but this actually tastes great. It has a real smooth texture. It's not super grainy. And you can, we typically use unsweetened almond milk to mix with with this. So my kids grew up on it. And like I said, this is 20 years now of me taking it. I used it with my prenatal with both of the girls that were just in the car with me. And so they've grown up with this. And this was part of our breakfast every day. I would make a smoothie. I would divide it between the 3 kids, and then they would drink that as part of their breakfast. It's 3 minutes. I can make a meal and be out the door if I need to, or I can just enjoy it at home. But again, great source of fiber and plant protein that actually tastes really good. So we're going to hop back up here to this video. I want you guys to see how Juice Plus is made.
The fact that we actually grow a lot of these products very close to the factory, and we can preserve the freshness, they can be harvested and processed within just a couple hours of when they come out of the field, as opposed to maybe some of the produce you might buy in the store where it has to go through trucking and shipping and a lot of different steps to be available to you. These processes that we do are done just within a few hours of when the product's harvested.
From the farm through our plant, the fresh product actually only takes about 6 hours. When the product arrives at our farm processing plant, the product is tumbled, washed, and cleaned. The clean product is then laid out over the processing belt and slowly moved through sub-zero air. When we're doing that, we're able to freeze the product and preserve all the freshness of the product just as if it was from the field.
The sooner you can lower the temperature and control the temperature, the more you can lock in the nutrients.
When Juice Plus is looking for nutritional quality, color is very important.
Most people associate a dark red cranberry as a sign of the ripeness of that fruit.
Freshness is very important. There's a very short amount of time from when they're harvested to when they're frozen, locking in the freshness and nutrients.
While we're producing the Juice Plus powders, they have very high standards for the purity of their powders, what can go into their powders. They also have tight controls over their supply lines. They know which farms it comes from, and they have a good control over that. Also, when the products are produced, they have certain steps throughout the process for safety and purity. My favorite part of working with Juice Plus is knowing that people are benefiting from what we're doing. We put a lot of work into how we grow our ingredients and how we process them so that they're safe and high quality and nutritious. It's neat to see the results of that by seeing the customers that use them and seeing their lives improved from some of the healthy ingredients and produce that we process.
So that's often a question I get is how do they get all those fruits and vegetables in there? So I hope that gave you a good overview of that. And really Juice Plus is unique. It's a food. It's not a multivitamin like I mentioned. It has a food label and not a supplement label. It's NSF certified, which is a third-party validation. So what's on the label is what is in the capsules, and what's in the capsules is on the label. And that's a third-party outside source from us checking to make sure that it is clean, no herbicides, no pesticides, no molds, no contaminants. Our bodies are trying to detox and get rid of those things. We definitely don't want to be introducing those in. And it's the most researched brand name nutritional product in the world. And we have over 35 peer-reviewed published medical studies on Juice Plus. And this is just a snapshot of what some of this gold standard research has shown. And these are at leading hospitals and universities around the world. This is outside of us doing the research. And these are gold standard randomized double-blind placebo-controlled studies. These studies are tested on the product itself, and they're human clinical studies. So when people take the product, what are the results? And then those results are published in peer-reviewed medical journals. So here's just a little bit. I really could spend like a whole other hour talking on the research alone, because this is what gives me confidence I can share with anybody. I can share this from small children will benefit from adding more plants into their diet, just like my grandmother that was 90 started taking Juice Plus. And it really is for anyone, but if it doesn't get into our body, then we're just wasting our money. And I didn't want to do that for my family. And I definitely could not recommend that to others for 20 years if I thought that was the case. But they keep coming out with more and more research that shows really how effective this is when you're looking at lung health, stronger lungs, better lung capacity, even people that were smoking, healthier skin, better hydration and thickness of your skin. reducing systemic inflammation. That's whole body inflammation, whether that's showing up in bleeding gums. We have other studies, dental studies, that show a reduction in pocket depth and bleeding from brushing and flossing, or systemically in different joints in your hands, in your knees, your hips, even in heart and blood vessels, which really leads to those heart studies that we have seen better circulation, better blood flow, and less restriction in your arteries after eating a high-fat meal or exercise. And that has to do with that endothelial lining in your arteries getting stronger, getting healthier, and reduced inflammation to where it can be elastic like it's supposed to be, versus constricted or in a spasm for even hours after eating a meal that's higher in fat. And then we have studies that show that our immune system is balanced out after taking Juice Plus. And that was really important to me when I was thinking about this for my husband. And that's what we saw with him. Jarrett was on both sides of the autoimmune spectrum. He had an underactive immune system where he was getting a cold every couple of weeks that would turn into upper respiratory infections and bronchitis and eventually pneumonia. And also he had an overactive immune system with really bad psoriasis on his head. And his senior year of college at the Air Force Academy, he got sick and really sick with pneumonia. And the antibiotics that saved his life just wreaked havoc on his gut system. And so it was this ugly cycle of, getting sick, and then he would get better. And then just weeks later, he would get sick again. And he always said that it was just with the seasons. We lived in Boston at the time. So, okay, there were 4 seasons and it was every 3 months he was getting sick. But then we moved to Miami. That's when I heard about all this, and he kept getting sick all the time. Well, there's only 1 season there. It's summer, like all the time. So I knew that that couldn't be it. Nicole, did you have a question?
No, just something I want to add to that when you're
Okay.
done with your.
Yeah, for sure. And what we saw was over time, Jarrett's immune system did balance out. It did get stronger, and he was able to use whatever shampoo he wanted to. Now he doesn't even think about it, but even better, he's never even had an upper respiratory infection since then. So we found he wasn't getting as sick, and it was further in between illness if he did get sick. So where I say Juice Plus gave me back hours in my day that I wasn't having to take a nap when my toddler was taking a nap because I was tired, my husband really feels like Juice Plus gave him back his life. And it did. I saw that happen for him. And honestly, that really impacted our relationship too, because if you've ever lived with someone who's chronically ill, he just wasn't fun. He was grouchy. He slept through the weekend just to get through the next week. And we didn't realize how bad it was because that had become our new normal. And so that has been a heart mission of mine, is to keep the new normal to actually be healthy for families and not just getting used to being sick and tired all the time. And Nicole, go ahead and share with us what you were thinking.
So I just kind of wanted to mention, because you mentioned autoimmune with Jarrett. I've been battling autoimmune for 15 years now. And it just today's been like a day of, with like our lunch at the coffee shop earlier, it's been a day of like reflection going, oh, this is something else I noticed too. The whole being sick and stuff. The past year and a half that I've been back on Juice Plus after the 10 years of not taking it, I haven't been sick hardly at all. Like if I do get a cold or something, it's maybe a day. Got a couple sniffles here and there, then I'm good to go. My kids, same thing. My kids have missed 1 day of school this year, and it wasn't because they were sick. So it's definitely, and then with my autoimmune stuff, it's definitely made a huge improvement in that.
And Nicole, you mentioned that you had been on Juice Plus and then had gotten off of it for a couple of years. What brought you back?
Meeting you and realizing that I could actually get it here, because 2012 I was on it, but I bought it from my friend. Like she would order it in, she purchased it. She would tell me, hey, it's here, and I would go pick it up. And then I moved from there, lost touch of her, and never thought I could get it again because I thought it was just a West Coast thing. Like I didn't know I didn't have a whole lot of knowledge besides trusting my friend. And so then when I met you, five years ago, and you brought it up to me, I was like, actually, I do know what that is. I used to take it a long time ago. Cool. Let's learn a little bit more. And now here I am with you again.
And here we are again. Nicole, share with us the changes that your youngest saw. And that's really
So-
what started the conversation with us.
So this one right here, that's being a little psycho. She was a year and a half old, and since she'd been born, she was fighting and battling, like fighting for her life, because she had chronic diarrhea. Saw specialists, ran tests, nothing. Like everything came back normal, but she was 16 pounds at a year and a half old, and she was skinny. Anything she ate, and she still eats constantly, but she ate constantly and would not gain weight. And then about a year and a half, it's been probably a year and a half. We started her on Juice Plus, and that was in November. And by January, she had gained like 8 pounds, 8 or 9 pounds just by adding Juice Plus to her. All the diarrhea stopped. Her hair, Stacy always points out her hair literally grew 5-6 inches, and just full head of hair now. She was bald the whole time, which is also a sign that your body is fighting off something that it's going through as hair loss. It's huge. So the fact that her hair started growing back or started growing, and now she's thriving and she's healthy. She loves eating healthy foods, and she's my number one big, huge turnaround with adding Juice Plus to her diet.
I love that, Nicole. And what's interesting about Nicole's story is oftentimes, I'm talking to somebody and they have constipation issues. Oh yeah, I definitely recommend Juice Plus to them. They'll see changes within that area very quickly. And yet Nicole's daughter was dealing with chronic diarrhea, but I knew her body was lacking nutrients. And so it's just another example of when you give your body what it needs and what it can use, it will use that to fuel it to run and repair and fix and heal like it's designed to. The sad thing is we're just not giving it what it needs. And so when she started getting those nutrients that her body already knew what to do with those, but it was in a digestible form that she could keep in her long enough to actually even absorb, then that's when we started to see things like hair growth and weight gain with her, because that's what her body needed. And she was tiny. She didn't know what those gummies were that she was eating or what the capsules were that we were putting into her food. And yet it made that such a difference with her. So I love that story, that example, because again, it's just proof of what our body's able to do with nutrients when we give it what it needs. And that's really what this research shows. If you dig into the research with Juice Plus, that's exactly what it shows. And Dr. Richard Du Bois says there's nothing else available any place in the world with or without a prescription that has clinically been proven to do what Juice Plus has been proven to do. That's such a huge, bold statement. And it's true. I've never even found a pharmaceutical that has more than 2 studies. And honestly, they do their own studies and they just get rid of studies that don't agree with what they want. And that's not the case with us. These are independent hospitals and universities, again, around the world that are doing research with the Juice Plus products. And one of the other things I love about this company is just how generous they are. So after beginning the family health study, or we call it the Healthy Starts Now, these are some of the information that was reported back from parents and their kids after 1 year of consuming these plant powders in either the gummy or the capsule form. So 60% were missing fewer days of school, 56% we're taking fewer over-the-counter or prescription drugs. They're drinking more water. They're visiting the doctor less, like Nicole said, and like we saw with our family. They're actually consuming less fast food and soft drinks. Today, I got a video from a friend of mine that her little one was smelling gummies, his Juice Plus gummies, and he said, "I love the way my fruits and vegetables smell." And I just thought, I was like, oh my gosh, you have to post that on Facebook. That's so good. This was the same kid who would not even touch those gummies when we introduced him to that. He was having none of it. And yet now he loves them. His body craves them because it knows it's real food. And we've seen a difference in his, how many times he's been sick or how chronic that has been. And that's just lessened for them. So when an adult orders, you can sponsor a child age 4 through 20 25 to get their Juice Plus free, their fruits and veggies for free. So it's an amazing program. Please ask us questions about that if you have somebody in your life, a child, a grandchild, niece, nephew, anyone that's in your life within that age group. With your order, they can get theirs for free. It's really incredible. And they've been doing this for years. There's almost 3 million kids now that have gotten Juice Plus free from this company. And really, Juice Plus is affordable. $2.67 a day for 30 fruits and veggies. I mean, Joe, if I sent you to Walmart with $3, how much produce could you come back with?
Well, I avoid Walmart like the plague, but not much, I'm sure.
Okay, then let's see. What do you have? Do you guys have Publix in Dallas area?
No, it's here. It's not my thing.
Yeah. Well, definitely it's not that many, right? For less than $3. And so free for kids. So it's that buy one, get one. Even the shakes are $2.53. Today, we were at the coffee shop. I got an unsweet tea and a salad, and it was $13 and change. I was like, oh my gosh, just for a salad and for iced tea. And the omegas are $1.08 per serving. Even if I add all of that up, it's a fraction of what I even paid just for one salad. And so to me, this is the most affordable way. And it's why we've been able to take it, keep getting these fruits and vegetables into our diet day after day, now 2 decades later, which is just crazy when I think about it. Those years have flown by. It's been so quick. And just the assurance of knowing, we've had these nutrients in our body every day. I'm just so thankful for that. And we've got so many resources to share with you guys, from personalized support with Courtney and Nicole to the, events like this that we're doing on Zoom, but a lot of them live. I was looking in Courtney's area where you guys are at, where you're near, and there's a lot of really great events in your area that you guys can tap into, where doctors come and speak, and they have different educational speakers to keep learning. And that's what we're about. We just want to support you on this health journey. Juice Plus is a piece of that puzzle. Growing your own produce is another one of those. I know that Courtney has a tower garden. This is an aeroponic gardening system where you can grow your own produce year round. I've had mine now for about 12 years, and I can get fresh lettuce off of it, every day. I know nothing's on it, hasn't been sprayed with anything. It's clean, and it grows in, just a fraction of the time that it would in a garden that I'm terrible. I plant outside and like nothing grows here in the desert. And this is 98% less water, 90% less space, 30% more yield than a traditional garden. It grows 3 times faster, and it really is just safe because nothing's on it, and the nutrient level is much higher. So you can grow indoor or outdoor, or the flex will grow in both indoor out. If you're inside, you definitely need the grow lights that you can see here on this one. That's what I've got. And it's just an excellent way to put the, plants that you eat back into your own hands, and to be that resource for you. So we would like to invite you to join us. Maybe tonight you walk away from this and you're like, I need to just eat more fruits and vegetables. I know I don't eat enough, and I'm really going to eat more. And we say, yes, please do. We want you eating as many plants as you possibly can. And sometimes, like, the information I shared is just a reminder of like, okay, that's why it's important. And then be super intentional to find ways to get in. Maybe you're also thinking, okay, I definitely don't eat 30 fruits, veggies, and berries every day, and see the simplicity of Juice Plus just like we did. And you want to adopt that and get that into your bodies, into your family's bodies. Maybe the shake is something that you're looking for a meal replacement, or you're already taking an omega and you would like to replace that fish one with a plant-based. We hope that you see this as a solution for yourself. And then maybe some of you would say yes to both of those, and know that there are other people in your life that you would like to share this with. That was me. I was like, I need this in my life. My family needs this. My parents need to know about it. My sister, I had a couple of friends. I knew they were more likely to listen to me than if I had sent them to this lady that I had met at a trade show that still lived in Florida when I moved to New Mexico or Alabama. I think that was that move. And so I just knew that they would stay connected with me. And the way this works is you order directly from the company. So Nicole talked about, she had a friend that ordered it and she bought it from her friend, but then they moved and they lost contact, and really the company wants you to stay in contact with them. You order directly from them, you pay them, and they ship it to you. So we just help facilitate the order for you, help you figure out what's the best fit for your family, and then you're ordering directly from that company. And so we just encourage you to think about, like, who in your life can we give this gift of hope to? I shudder to think what our family's life would be like, where our health would be two decades later had I never heard of this, or had I just not said yes. You know, my husband's health was getting worse. It wasn't getting better. I had issues I didn't even realize I did until they started to clear up with better nutrition. Like I said, it shaped how I fed my family, what I thought about produce, how I thought about the food that I fed them. It changed the direction of our health picture by introducing fruits and veggies in a capsule that just seems too simple. Like, could it have had, made that big of a change? But I have had the privilege of walking alongside people for the last 20 years. I could tell you some amazing stories. And I wanted to end with Courtney sharing with you why this made sense to her. Courtney, why did you say yes to Juice Plus? What were you looking for, and what changes did you see?
So I apologize if you hear a cat in the background. That's why I've been muted the whole time, but it made sense to me because of the research. The research is what had my attention. I looking for an answer because I had psoriasis really bad on my head, my hands, and my feet. And my friend told me that there is a simple way to get more fruits and vegetables into your diet. And I didn't understand the link between disease and whole food nutrition. So I looked more into it, and that's when the research caught my eye. And then I tried it, and immediately I saw a benefit from not itching as much and less inflammation. Again, I'm sorry for the baby screaming. And then when I saw that it helped me, I had a passion to help others. And that's why I share it with others, because this is a gift that was given to me that I would like to share with the world.
I love that. I love that so much. And that is definitely the heart so many of us have. So I appreciate you sharing that with us, Courtney. So I'm going to end the recording, but we're going to keep it open if you guys have questions. So thanks for joining us, and get back with the gals that invited you tonight if you do have questions and are watching the recording of this. But thanks for joining in.